You're up.
All right, it is Thursday, March 26th. Bannock County Commissioners are now in session. Tristan, you're first on the agenda.
Tristan Borquin, Assistant Planning Director. I am here for the Planning and Development Monthly Update. So I just have a few things on the agenda for you today. We do have, as you know, a staff member retiring this week and another one who is shifting positions. So we've got a position that will be open in the next few weeks that we'll be looking to fill over the next couple of months as applications come in. We have been doing a few of the City of Pocatello inspections this week since that agreement was signed a little while ago. Their inspector's been on vacation for spring break, and so...
And why'd we let Hal go then?
I know. He just gets to go every time we have important things going on.
Sorry, interrupt you.
And so that's worked really well, and Danny was able to go over there and complete their inspections for them, and so that agreement is working out well. We do have our joint meeting with council and the commission scheduled for next week, March 31st, so we'll have stuff for you to update everything that the council's been doing over the last year. And then the last thing is our ordinance project. We are currently 4 weeks behind schedule right now. Last time we were just right about at schedule. Now we are 4 weeks behind. It is under legal review, which according to the critical path was one of the higher risk phases, just with their workload and everything that they have going on as well. I'm working on just the floodplain chapter with the state floodplain coordinator so that can alleviate legal's responsibility a little bit, since ours has to mimic theirs anyway. So that will hopefully help give legal a little bit less that they have to review for their analysis. And I also have council prepped and ready for the possibility of a special meeting in the next couple of months, and already have dates that they're all available. So as soon as we have the go, we can get that scheduled as quickly as possible to try to get back on track. So, and I think that's everything, unless you have any questions for me.
So when you say 4 weeks, so do you have a target date? Because in my mind, I'm looking at, what we've got with budgeting sessions and Board of Equalizations or whatever.
Yes.
Where do you anticipate this is going to plug into?
Yeah, so our original target date was to have everything adopted by July 1st. And so right now we're in that legal and advisory workshops review phase. And we were hoping to have the work sessions for the council and the commission in March. But we don't want to do any of those work session reviews until we know if there are any takings based on what we've changed. So if legal comes back and says, no, this is considered a taking, then we have to go back, edit those couple of items, and then we would bring it before the board for work session and initial reviews.
So with that, it seemed like, refreshed my mind, we were trying to mitigate some of that by not changing some of the
Yes.
mixed use. Is that what we're after?
Yep. So we have decided to move forward with having multiple use stay, and we're not changing any of the zones that way so that we don't have to do a mass rezone and takings analysis there. So really what legal is looking at is specifically going to be the zones themselves, making sure that some of the adjustments we've made to lot size wouldn't be considered a taking by anybody. And then our land use chart is a lot more extensive, but we have made some changes there. And so I think those are the two areas that will have to be reviewed the most for takings.
Okay. We had some concerned citizens come and chat with us about your last meeting. They felt like, and I guess refresh, when something's on the agenda, and this is something I'm hoping that maybe we can talk about next week with your entire council, is that when something's on the agenda, there's some folks who come specifically for that, and then when the agenda item gets removed off, was that a council decision? Was that a staff decision? Because it really kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. And so I'm just hoping that we can kind of come to, if it's on the agenda, we need to do our best to take care of that, because it is involving other people.
Yeah, so it was not removed from the agenda. The work session was there. It was a land use and development ordinance update, which was just very specifically the same thing I'm giving you right now.
Okay.
I think they were under the impression that it would actually be a review of the ordinance itself, but that is not what the agenda said. The agenda said it was an update, which is what we gave, and so I think that's
Okay,
where
appreciate
the
that.
upset came.
And hopefully, maybe we, somehow, I don't know how but boy, we had some heartburn
Yeah.
bubbling
Well, and
up
it
last
is,
week.
it's the last item on the agenda, and so they waited through the whole meeting just to hear a 10-minute update, and so it makes sense why they would be upset to have to sit there and wait through a whole meeting for that.
Okay.
But it wasn't removed, we did do the update.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah.
So,
So now that Ian's here, I don't know where they sit and your priorities, but with the ordinance review and stuff, we need to make that a priority.
We're making that a priority. Sadly, there's been more number of things, as I'm sure the commission's aware, that have popped up that have leapfrogged over a lot of priorities and fires we're trying to put out, and sadly, we're still lacking in the manpower to get that done.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get all those issues sorted out.
Well, from a month ago, we've gone 4 weeks behind schedule now from where we were at. So just so we understand what's there, but we also want to emphasize how important it is.
I understand that, and we're trying to take care of everything.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have stayed in constant contact with John, just to keep both of us updated on where we're at in our work schedules so that we can try to prioritize it as much as possible, so.
These same people that were at the meeting last week are also listening today, so I just want them to know
Yes.
that it is a priority.
and we're trying to
That's where
address these things.
We're focused on it. It's not something we've just pushed to the back burner.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's
and
the
we
only,
are-
that's the only reason I bring it up. is-
And we are still working on it.
We get
too,
listened
in
to
our
and-
office, so.
No, I know for a fact, and I spoke with John yesterday, who's been out of the office all week, and understand that him and Tristan are in regular communications, and we're working on things. It's just in the nature of having to deal with items that pop up left and right, and have things that are important, but are not, get
So-
addressed.
So my question, so the council is aware that there could, that's part of their, just as our workload shifts, hopefully they're amenable to adding another meeting if necessary.
Yes.
And
Yep,
they're
they
okay with
are.
that. So
Yep.
we really need to encourage that, because sometimes once a month is probably not enough when we have this many things going on.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and typically the council understands it's really nice to have a meeting solely for ordinance, because if you wait till the end of a meeting, they get tired, they don't want to continue, it's already 9 p.m., so we usually try to do a separate meeting for stuff like that anyway, so that their sole attention can be on something like that.
okay, thank you.
And so we are losing one of our inspectors. And how long will it take for the other person that you moved into that position to become licensed or ready to inspect? You feel like?
So they are already shadowing Danny and working through inspections. And I would say probably in the next 3-4 months, I bet we will have licensing ready to go. But under the code, they're allowed to do inspections as a deputy of the building official. And so as soon as she feels comfortable enough to be on her own, we shouldn't hit too big of a lag on that.
So, and you visited with HR about getting a new position or getting
Yes.
the other position filled? And
Yep.
how close are we to doing that?
Hal and Tristan, I believe, are wanting to review the job description, so I think you're edit this week, right?
Yep.
And then after we get that edit, if there's any changes, we'll bring them before the commission that are significant, but Hal wanted to do a brief update of that job description to make sure, because they've learned some things since the code enforcement officer was a new position. I think they felt like they've learned some things, And they want to update that job position for the next person so that they can succeed.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Ken?
No, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan?
Good morning.
Hello, Dick.
Dan Kendall, Facilities Director, just here for a monthly update. Next week, we're gonna start on the ag extension sewer repair. The first problem area is actually under the floor inside of the building, so we're gonna have to saw cut and jackhammer and replace all that underground plumbing there, and then there'll be probably a few spots outside, but overall, was pretty pleased with the camera work on that particular building. Most of the problems are inside of the building, but we also cameraed the public restrooms and the concession stand, and there are some issues out there too. So we're gonna have that plumber write up a report with an estimate and kind of give us a game plan of how we're gonna take care of it. It's just a constant every month or every other month problem that I feel bad for 4-H and those folks to have to put up with that. So now that we have nice weather, we're gonna get after it, and we're gonna start on Monday with the demo work. So they've been really nice to work with. They're probably gonna have to leave the building while that is happening. The concrete cutting and the jackhammering, they're not gonna wanna be in there. So it'll be nice to get that taken care of. As far as the courthouse goes, the Jason Dye remodel, we're on the last room. We're gonna put the ceiling in this week and the carpet next week, so that one should be wrapped up. So it'd be nice to, I think that was a total of 5 or 6 rooms that we just did one room at a time so they could keep working in that area. So it'd be nice to have that one done as well. The parking lot replacement we talked about was gonna start in May. With the nicer weather, maybe it might even be late April. They just wanna make sure it's all dry under there before they do the work, but happy to get that one on the schedule. It'd be nice to have that done. That parking lot's in really bad shape.
So what's the plan when that thing goes? We're just gonna have to invite everybody else to find somewhere else to park. And what I worry about is the public, because a lot of them, they still pull into that. You're gonna have signage, what are we gonna do
We'll
to?
work with Emma and get it out there, but yeah, when they pull in, it's just gonna have orange cones and you're not gonna be able to pull in there. They're only saying, 7 days they'll have it done. We're just gonna mill it up and put new on top of it. So it's gonna go pretty quick. I think just have a week of it shut down, work through a weekend, and I think it won't be too bad. I'm surprised with YDC gone, how much extra parking spaces we have. It's been actually really nice.
I think on that week, we need to end up making sure that we publicized our employees. These 2 parking lots over here need to be for our public and have all our employees park over across the way. I mean, that'll open up quite a bit for the public. And honestly, out here with the new parking lot where the road was, we've increased a lot of parking.
Yeah, parking lot's surprisingly empty, in my opinion, and we'll have to work with the marshals as well. That Sally Port won't be accessible, so we're gonna have to figure that out.
And all county vehicles, we can even park them over to Juvie or over to the village.
Yeah.
I noticed there's a lot more parking around the assessor's parking lot, with that, the way that street is right now. So I think there's plenty of room there, we just need to redirect.
Yeah, Emma's gonna have to help us out and advertise and let people know it's gonna happen. Definitely needs done. That thing, you can't even hardly plow it anymore. It's pretty bad.
I think internal is the biggest concern.
Yeah. The chambers downstairs have made some good progress in the last 30 days. The countertops are in, the carpet is in, ceiling grid is in. The audio video company stopped by. They're working at ISU this week, so they wanted to stop in, and we're pleasantly surprised I think with our experience with courtrooms, we have it down pretty good. Well, the things that they asked for, I doubled up on, so there's no way that it's gonna go smooth, and he said it's gonna be a lot easier than he anticipated. But next thing I need to get working on is the furniture. But the audio video company is scheduled for April 20th. That week, they'll be here to install their equipment, and then we can kind of wrap it up. we're gonna put woodwork in this weekend, so it's gonna look kinda done. And we'll be waiting on them to get in and do their thing. But that'll be nice when we get wrapped up.
I'm ready for it. I retire in January.
Well,
I want to at least sit in there once.
Oh, it'll be done in May for sure, so we're gonna plan on using it in May. Let's see, Christy Davenport's actually helping me with that furniture order. It's been kind of a challenge, but I think we're gonna maybe meet up today and get something going on that. The exhibit building, we had our first event. The building was excellent. It was a lot of fun. A lot more people showed up than anticipated, and the building handled it well. Have so much tables and chairs in there. It was just very nice. The kitchen was perfect. The promise was to come back with a report on the things that didn't work so great, and the things we didn't think about. But we had a lot of people asking, where's the restrooms? I didn't realize I didn't put up a restroom, down this hallway kind of sign. So got a guy down there today putting that up. The audio video, we didn't order a big enough, robust enough system to hear over that many people. So IT's helping me get a bigger speaker stands and a better mic. We'll put that smaller system in the meeting room. It'd be perfect for that, I think. But that original system is just too small. You don't realize how much noise, 150 people make even when they're being quiet. It's just, you couldn't hear anything. But we had a backup with the guy was there with a guitar, so we just borrowed his mic and it worked out fine. But I'm glad that we tried it out before we have the big meetings coming in, because there was definitely some issues. Trash, that was another thing. We had nowhere to put that amount of trash, so we're gonna work with Jamie and figure out a little dumpster to take care of it. Parking is something we'll need to label maybe. People setting up the event was parked in the rear of the building, so then everybody thought that they should park in the rear of the building, and it ended up with a bit of a traffic jam before people finally figured out they can park on the road and park across the street. But I think the sidewalk that we're gonna put in will take care of a lot of that, and that is gonna go in next week. So I feel like we found the major issues, and I think we're gonna have them resolved quickly and for sure before that next meeting's coming in. But had nothing but compliments. Like I say, the kitchen with the new ice maker in it, they kind of had a soda barn thing set up for drinks and snacks, and opened up the window, and the ladies in there just working like a machine, and everything was set up properly. Even the florist was able to use the refrigerator. It was set up for that. It's just, I couldn't have asked for anything better. It was a lot of fun, so thank you guys for letting me try it out.
The real question was the bride happy?
She was, and that's not an easy task. We actually rented the park next door and decorated the shelter, and the younger crowd kind of migrated out to that area. They had yard games set up and s'mores, and had the fire pit going, and and then everyone was gone by 10 p.m. It was perfect. Cleanup went well. I would suggest, like, almost as we figure this stuff out, set up and tear down. It was a challenge. Like, it was more work than I thought. Like, I think the county staff's gonna have to be involved in making sure things are set up properly and safely, and then also inspected and torn down and put on the racks and put away properly. Because I could see some problems with that, like making sure things are clean as you put them away and stacking them the right way so it actually will fit back in that room, and just making sure things got cleaned up so those tables stay looking nice. But I did notice, as people were helping me, not setting up the tables all the way. Like, a couple of them were ready to fold up and fall over. Like, I could see that being an issue. Like, we just need to be safe, and I do have those ladders there now that, safe way as people try to decorate. They have a way to get up and, hang stuff up off beams or whatever they might be doing. But definitely going to take some staff support to make sure everyone's taking care of the place and being safe. But it went great.
Yeah, I appreciate your input. In fact, right after you, if you want to hang around, you know, that we have that actual duty thing that we're trying to look through, and
Sure.
a lot of your comments and with what Jamie did,
Yeah.
hopefully we're still learning
Yeah.
on that, and I appreciate your, as far as that sidewalk, and just so that you're aware too, we did meet with the city of Downey, with the mayor and Tony, is it Tony or
Tony.
Troy?
Yep,
Tony,
Tony.
trying to figure out that whole street and the parking and everything else, and so I'm probably gonna go out and see Kyle, because he actually talked like, instead of maybe the curb, they can roll that just a little bit,
Okay.
with a little bit of asphalt there that will help guide that water
Yeah.
clear around there. So if we don't have to put a concrete curb in there, he
Sure.
said they could do a lot with just asphalt. So anyway, I'm trying to, if I get a chance, I don't know what you're doing today, I'm gonna maybe try to go and visit with Kyle to see what his thoughts are on there, and even possibly using even the Downey Road and Bridge, see if we can get a cooperative, what can we do for that one street that would help Downey and help everybody, so. I
Yeah.
appreciate you going down there and meeting, that wind was blowing down there that day too, so.
Well, I had Digline come out and mark everything, and I met with Tony again, showed him kind of what I was thinking on that sidewalk, and he said he did talk to the highway people down there. They were all willing to help however they could, and we're totally on board with, you know, getting something put in, so.
Okay.
They've been very helpful. Jamie's been excellent. Alex has been wonderful.
Yeah,
so.
and now that you see Alex here, Alex
Yeah.
met with us down there, we walked around, it was
Yep.
a good, thank you for
Yeah.
meeting us down there and having that good discussion.
Yeah, but nothing but good news. I think it's going to be great.
So, did we budget everything for the sewer?
Yeah,
We're good with that?
yeah, yeah. All these projects that were planned, you know, last year, budgeted for. So
After
we'll get what we can done and work with Scott on his part of it, and hopefully get this thing taken care of, because it's rough.
Yeah. Like I told you the other day, I'd really like to get all that stuff done up there with the sewer before the rodeos come in. So that we're flushing toilets and not, not having a problem.
Yeah, we'll get started, you know, Monday. They had day camp this week, so we didn't want to interfere with that, so Monday we'll start tearing it up. And I think it's gonna be kind of a hit and miss thing, like you patch this spot and then go to the next one. I think there's gonna be, you know, 3 or 4 spots that I don't think it's gonna require removing the whole parking lot. It's a lot better news than I thought, but there are some major problems, and like I say, we're constantly clearing drains up there almost monthly, so we need to get it taken care of.
And back to that, we had talked about that with the mayor and Alex, and I've actually visited with Jonathan about what our actions would be on maybe that Downey Street right away through there.
Yeah.
And he was gonna talk to their city council, but in talking with Jonathan, there is a mechanism that, if that hasn't been used, what do you call it, adverse possession, where actually, those are so old
Yeah.
that, and we have some buildings that are sitting on that,
Yeah.
but he just said there's a process, so I invited Jonathan to get a hold of the attorney down there, or whatever it is, and see the best we can do, because Downey's got that, we've sodded it right through there and everything else, we just need to get that, get something organized, so especially if there is some new additions down there,
Yeah.
we're building stuff on our property, not this city right away. So
Yeah.
anyway, we're, for the record, we're working on that as well, trying to get
Yeah.
that done.
Yeah, you guys have been great on getting on top of that. It's been a problem for a long, well, forever. And we do have buildings right in it. But it just keeps getting put on the back burner, so I'm excited for you guys to get it resolved. And it's just, kind of has our hands tied on a few spots, and it'd be nice to get it resolved. City's been great to work with, you know, where those lawns meet up, and it just takes a teamwork to get it, you know, take care of that place, so.
So did we get the lawn mowing issue, as far as a mower for that front part that is suitable for that lawn versus the other stuff?
The only thing that I've done, the guy that actually did the landscaping, he mows the church in Downey, so he's just been mowing it while he's in Downey, and I told him to continue doing that until we tell him different.
Okay, so are you getting that out of your budget
Yeah.
then? Okay. Because I know we've met with the fair, you know, we're trying to figure out
Yeah,
whether we need to get some equipment, a better mower,
Yeah.
or what we need to do, so we need to keep working with that.
Yeah, we definitely do. I definitely pay for, I hate passing bills on to them, so I've been paying for some of that stuff for sure. Lawn mowing and any little repairs that we might be doing or equipment. Definitely we need to figure out like who pays for what, but
Okay,
inspections are gonna be coming up this summer that I was planning on paying on as far as fire suppression and fire extinguishers and that kind of thing. It's gonna be an annual cost, so something to figure out for sure.
now, to be continued.
Yeah.
So, last fall, we had problems with too much water.
Yeah.
Have you got that settled?
Well, yeah, I had like a couple of like, like the sod company, they tell you how to water new sod, but it's not possible to water it that much. But the guy had somehow, I think when he was mowing, somehow got in there and changed the timer back. That sod with that slope, you can't let it run for more than 7 minutes. And in their minds, you want to really soak that sod, so they would want to run for an hour. And then what the problem is too is like before the fair, the city really waters their park heavy because they have to shut it off during the fair because people drive up on that lawn and everything else. But their water, the way that town is sloped, everything comes down towards our building. Well, Mike's building code, you slope the sod away from the building, so it kind of creates a low spot. And so I was getting calls, you have a broken pipe or whatever out there. It's not a broken pipe, it's just the city water and our water meeting in that low spot, and it pulls up right there. There's a couple spots. But now that the sod is established, we'll have those timers down to, 5 to 7 minutes, and maybe I lock the box up. I don't know, to make sure that doesn't get turned back up, but we won't water that much for sure anymore. But I just wanted to make sure it stayed green and healthy and happy, but we can turn it down. The water pressure in Downey is unbelievable too. Like we have to put low pressure, like pressure reducing valves on everything. It blows a lot of water. So
Everything down there's on city water.
yeah. All ours is automatic. All the cities, they're turning on by hand. So it's just hard to allow for what they're doing. It runs down onto us in that right of way. The low spot, we either got to create some sort of a drainage out of that thing or create kind of a landscaping thing, the bushes and whatever that might soak up some of that extra water. But there is like a low spot. But we will make sure it doesn't flood like that again.
Learning.
Yeah. Yep. I think we got done a week before the fair last year, so it was kind of a learning curve and wanting that grass to stay healthy, and it definitely got probably overwatered, but we'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Stay right there. Everybody else come up. Somebody's gonna have to sit in Jeff's chair.
Here, I've got it.
Nobody wants Jeff's chair. Delaney? Right center of the camera.
Exactly.
All right, well, welcome to the Fair Board and associates. Go ahead.
Okay, Delenn Moser Evans, the Bannock County Fair Board.
Jamie Pearson, Fair Board Coordinator.
Alex Halford, the grounds coordinator.
Nikki Ennis, Extension Educator, County Chair.
Cody Miller, Fair Board.
What was that?
Scott Crowder, Event Director.
All right, let's just go over these contracts first.
Do you want to start with the first one that we're approving?
Yeah,
So this is the updated contract with the recommendations that legal and HR sent over. So we just need to approve that we're using it with the new verbiage, the blank one.
This one. Okay.
And this is everything that Jonathan and Matthew sent over, added to it, changed on it.
And I got a few questions on it.
Sure.
Right on the very start, permit the applicant to display, demonstrate, limited these lease spaces during the rental period. And as I read through this, you talk about where they can put up signs, what they can't do a little bit, but that's gotta be something that, I don't want stuff taped. I mean, we went down there and after the fair, there was tape on the brand new walls, there's all kinds of stuff. So when they're advertising, how are you gonna control where they're putting stuff and what they're doing?
So we really don't run into this issue. You know, we have cinder block walls in B building, but I think that a lot of the sponsorship stuff that we do deal with people. So as an example, Pocatello Downs wanted to have a sponsor for the water truck. So when they hang a sign off the water truck, we work with those guys to make sure that we used magnets strong enough to hang the sign on the water truck, but it's something that we can pull off if we're doing two events at the same time. So it's usually just a verbal discussion, not necessarily a something that's written in the contract, because it's going to vary for every person. And I don't know how many events you guys are going to have that are rental events where they're going to want to hang stuff on the walls necessarily. So that could be something that could be just discussed verbally with people if there is an issue.
Okay. Well, and that's, I mean, as you have weddings and people are climbing on the ladders, different things. I mean, there are just some issues there that I want to make sure that we're emphasizing with people.
That could be part of the setup discussion as these guys meet with people and give out the keys.
And there are setup instructions on the back page of the contract that we can make sure that we address that.
Okay. And that just kind of goes along with the next paragraph under the application shall obtain approval. And I mean, well, it says outdoor on the first line, but indoor also. I mean, anything that they do on that facility that they're changing. I mean, we got sprinkler lines wherever they're putting tents, or, I mean, you run into that up there at the event center.
Yeah, so what we'll do is, standard for us is like, they'll fill out this contract for us, and it's really just a starting point. They're gonna put in the details in the description, and if there's not details in that description, I'll send it back to them. An example is of something that I frequently deny is we'll have people who will say they're gonna do bull riding practice, but then they wanna run a full bull riding rodeo with sponsors and a concert and all that kind of stuff. And they kind of fooled us on it one time, and now I get all the details, and then I can say, look, based off of what you're asking for, I'm gonna deny that, right? Because the indoor arena, we don't run concerts in the indoor arena, right? And so that's the same thing, that line is really the starting point where they have to give us that event, and then we have to communicate back with them before that contract is signed and pushed forward.
Yeah, I'd take out outdoor. I mean,
Yeah.
you have more outdoor stuff.
Sure.
We have more indoor stuff, especially with this facility in this building. I want to make sure that we cover this.
And you could just take, instead of putting outdoor or indoor, you just put, facility use or whatever facility.
Yeah.
Something less simple.
And then, right there on the very bottom, let's take off Bannock County Fair Board. This is a commission. Decisions made on the facilities is the commission's decision. And we keep crossing it out. I mean, all these contracts that I got here have Fair Board crossed out. And let's just clean that up to make it.
Well, I think that the balance between the two boards really is, we want to make sure the Fair Board is aware and has approved that as well. The process should be that the Fair Board has reviewed these types of contracts. Anything that's out of the norm, right? So if you guys allow Jamie to sign full fee contracts up to a certain dollar amount, right? Like she can sign a rental of that building, right, without taking it to either the Fair Board's allowed the approval and you guys have allowed the approval, then she can sign that. There doesn't need to be like the Fair Board approval on all those contracts. But really, if somebody's asking for a fee waiver or somebody's asking for use of the building that maybe is outside of normal bounds, my opinion is the Fair Board should at least know about it and say, we're good with it before it comes before you guys. And then you guys just know, hey, look, we've checked all the boxes. So it could be not necessarily a signature it's more a signature for you guys to know that they have seen it and support it, right? And I think that just is helping. It's not that, I mean, your signature is the one that's required for the fee reduction. But you also want to know that they are good with it as well. That's
But
my-
our signature is required for contracts. Theirs is not on the facility.
Yeah,
Theirs is required for anything that happens with the fair.
sure.
Ours is required for anything else that happens in that facility.
I think it's just more of a collaborative thing that if we wanted to just put
Like I said, I
fair
got-
board reviewed and then.
I got
check
3
box.
contracts with Fair Board crossed out, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't look good on a contract, to me.
And like I said, you could put a checkbox on that says fair board reviewed and,
So what if I put Bannock County representatives? Do you want to word it that way?
No, because we're required to sign it as a commission. I mean, that's how it is. Unless we give specific
authorities.
authority, but
I think on some of these things, we use a contract rental. And if you guys approve a certain dollar amount, which you guys have done for almost all of my staff, a lot of my staff can approve, I think it's up to $250 rental, so they can approve B building to be rented out, right? And they
Full
sign
fee.
up. Full fee, yes.
Full fee.
Full fee. And then anything that's a reduced fee or is maybe outside of the scope of a general responsibility. So like if somebody wants to have a birthday party, but they want to bring in an elephant, right? Like, well, we probably need to talk about that.
Right.
So those are the things that we bring before the commission. But other than that, having a fair representative sign it, and Jamie could be the representative. Even though Jamie's a county employee, she's technically a fair employee, right? And so I think in my opinion, it's just checking a box to make sure that I want to know that these guys are okay with it, right? Before I would push it to you guys. And whether that's formal or informal, I still think that's an important part. If you don't want to see it on the form, on the contract, then that's okay. It's just an informal part of the thing. But I would think that rather than just explain to you, yeah, they've seen it, you guys would be able to see they've seen it and they're okay with it too. So that's my suggestion. But
Commissioner, there is a problem statutorily. Any contract that a county has to be signed by the commission. So it's not an authority you can delegate. So if there's a contract that's being entered into of any sort, they have to sign it.
So does your staff sign contracts that
So-
are meet fee schedule?
like it's a rental agreement, so yeah.
Any contract has to come through the commission.
and it eventually does.
No,
Not all of them.
no. I mean, think about a pavilion rental. Like we do pavilion rentals online, an RV park rental, right? A horse stall rental.
See, I have one
They're
that just
all-
came
they're
through
all the
this week
same.
for
Like, it's an
1 hour in the
agreement.
conference room, which
It's
is
a statutory
$25.
requirement. It's
Yeah.
not something that I'm trying to cook up to cause
No, I'm
problems.
just trying to say, how do we do it? Because like, there's some, like even a landfill fee, right? Like, so if somebody goes, drops off something in a landfill, that's a fee they have to pay.
Let me work backwards on this. Ratification of the contract could happen as well. That's a possibility. However, the comparison with the landfill is a different story where they're dropping stuff off. That's not necessarily a contract you're entering into. You're just paying
Sure.
to drop something there. Whereas if you're renting any of the facilities, that's an actual contract because there's obligations that extend beyond simply, I'm dumping my garbage here, to I'm providing you with the building that it also has the implication of power, water, plumbing, all kinds of other stuff to it. And should any of that fail during the process of the rental, the county is responsible for that. That at the same time, the agreement, reciprocates with the fact that if the renter, if they do damage, they have obligations as well. So that becomes a contract where there's, two-way streets on that, and that has to be signed by the commissioners. It may be possible to ratify that. The way we would have to do that, though, would have to be before the contract would be enforced. Does that make sense? So if they're renting it for Memorial Day weekend, it has to be signed by the commission after ratification before then.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So say I got a request today, and they want to rent the building for 4 hours this Saturday. I don't have time to get it on the agenda before next Thursday, so do we just lose that revenue and not rent it? See, we're
Yeah,
kind of in
no,
it.
you're right.
That's
It
exactly
causes all
what I was
kinds of
just gonna
problems.
say.
That's every pavilion rental.
Yeah,
That's
pavilion
every
rentals.
RV spot we have, that's every horse stall we have.
No, I get it.
Because we're gonna lose out on revenue, because people, let's say it starts to rain, and they have to have it inside, a wedding, a missionary farewell, any of those kinds of things. We have 3 days, we can't get on that agenda to get it in front of you.
Could they be added to the consent agenda?
Well,
But, I mean, we realize it has to meet fee schedule. We can't do waivers
Exactly.
or reduce, but how do we do it if it's like, they want it this weekend? What do I tell them?
Even the consent agenda doesn't,
And Scott's in the
Doesn't
same
address
situation
the
when somebody
timeliness
talks about
of it.
pavilion.
No,
you
so
know,
like.
the timeliness of it, can it be more a user fee than a contract? Because that's really what you're doing, is you're charging a user fee for that pavilion or for that building. But if it's a contract, like I say, I understand, but the consent agenda is only good if it's a ratification, but who approves that before the ratification? I guess
So this process has been in place for, I mean, like, before I started up the event center. this
Years
has
I've been
happened,
here, yeah.
Right, so like, these processes have been in place. I would imagine that we've had other folks review them in the past. I don't know.
I'm sure.
So I don't know how, and I'm not saying that, obviously I'm not trying to discount, Ian, what you're saying on this stuff. I'm just trying to say like, I mean, we have RV rentals. We're gonna open up the RV park April 1st, and we'll have RV rentals all the time, right? We have so many people that use the venue for RV horse stalls. Like, you guys would be signing 500 papers a week.
so RV rentals, do they have a written out contract like this, or do they just come and pay a fee?
No, well, so they can register and pay it for it online, but we have like I'm sure it's like a statement on.
So I'm trying to compare the RV rentals
Sure.
to, we have a set fee for it,
Mhm.
just like we do out at the landfill. And so they're just an agreement. I mean, or is
It's
it a
a
contract?
Yeah, well,
That's what I'm trying to
yeah, it's a user fee.
justify,
But
how
if-
do we do this?
Yeah, but the user fees are an established rate, whether it's for landfill or whether it's for the use of the building or RV. So we all agree that the rental fees are what it is. It's the timeliness of how do we do with that and fulfill the requirements of the law and require, is it a contract or is it just a,
Well, and that's, if I'm looking at the pavilions up there, you don't do anything with them. I mean, we get complaints if they're not cleaned or whatever, but that's just a daily deal to clean that. So they're coming in and just utilize the pavilion, they pay that fee, just like they would at the landfill or the horse stalls but if it's a contract where we want to make setups, we want to do all this stuff, I think it's a different situation. It's more of a contract with them then. We agreed to do all these things if you do this, where the other ones,
So we
you get
consider-
park your camp trailer here, hook it up, whatever you do, we don't hook anything up for you. You're just renting that space, just like paying a fee at the
And we
landfill.
really do use B-Building that same way, the same way we use the pavilion. We don't set up tables for them. We have tables available if they want to set them up. We have chairs available if they want to set them up. If they want to rearrange the room however they want, that's fine, but the tables and chairs are in there. You know, I will go clean it. We cleaned it before. But, you know, they have the responsibility for the space, right? But we really don't provide a ton of, it's not a banquet hall, right? That's what I'm saying. It's not a banquet hall. It's literally a roof and some heaters or coolers, right? You know,
and I think that works well for that, but for our building down there where we're gonna require that we wanna arrange the room and everything else, then we have to provide that service, which comes part of the contract. This is what we're providing you. So I see
and I think if
they're not the same as a pavilion versus that exhibit hall down
if you're
there.
gonna do the exhibit hall that same way, like my opinion on the provide table, you know, set up tables and chairs, your fee's not gonna cover it, right? You would have to do a minimum rental fee, because if you send staff down to set up and tear down, I mean, you're talking, if you send 2 people down here, you're $50 to $60 an hour, right? And so
And you're not
then,
making your money off
No.
so then you've got to
Okay.
raise.
for a 2-hour
raise-
event.
So here's the thing, is this is where there's a delineation. Because we're talking about fee versus contract in certain
Sure.
circumstances. And if we do this as a fee, there's ways that can be done. Then we also have to change some of the language in these agreements, because the agreements themselves tend to indicate a contract. So with renting like this right here that we're reviewing right now, 100% that's a contract, okay? So that would require time. Now, there's also a possible way of creating an ordinance. We could conceivably create an ordinance that would delineate the fees and contract differences and then have those applied specifically to that. That would be one way of going about this.
Can we change this to a user agreement versus a contract?
Well,
That goes according to whatever they're wanting to use. It needs to be a contract with the exhibit hall,
now, and here's the
and
thing.
not a fee. Because all these conditions that we have, I mean, that's a contract.
Yeah, the fee is like when you talk about Building B or the pavilions and all that, it's there, you're just using it.
But it's still a signed contract. I mean, we're still using the same contract Scott is for this.
And that's what he just said, we need to adjust the
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
I think if you do these staff responsibilities like you're talking about, set up, tear down, you know, if you do a lot of this stuff, even monitor the event parking, you know, if you're doing this stuff, I agree, this is a heavier rental than just saying, here's the space.
It's because it's a contract.
Yeah, but in B building, we do sometimes have those agreements where we have to say, you know, somebody's gonna, maybe they wanna sell alcohol or they wanna bring a DJ in, and we'll turn that if it's more than just that.
Well, and here's the thing, is if someone is bringing alcohol or anything like that with DJ, then that has to definitely be signed by these guys.
Sure.
So
Right.
there's a difference there.
You know, somebody could go in and use the conference room without us having to do a whole lot in there.
They
So
still
that
have to
could-
sign the same thing though, so.
I know, but that could just be a fee rental space, because we're not going in and setting up tables and chairs, or providing ladders. It's just, here's a room that already has all the tables and all the chairs for a conference room in there. We're not gonna do a whole lot with that. But if we're doing what some of these wanna do and set up tables and chairs and set up and everything else, then I think we have to have that contract. I think there has to be a separation there.
Okay, and here's my problem with that, is we're going into the summer. Alex is going to be doing those grounds and all of that. She's gonna be hardcore on the book. Then on a Sunday, she might be there for 11 hours. She's gonna go way over on her time. Then they're gonna be in trouble for going over on their time.
Yep.
And so we can't do that. And not only that, but why, Dan and I actually even talked, I don't know if he remembers, when I got the keys last summer, that if I took a picture of the chairs, do you remember this? When we got our stuff, take a picture, this is how the chairs look when they're put away right. This is how the tables look. This is how the round tables look, how the rectangle, so that people see that. And I'm saying that from a school point of view, because it was nothing if we had 250 chairs set up in that gym at Ingham Elementary. People start doing that, and once they saw how those chairs go on, it's bam, 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 and they got it done right, as long as they can see what it's supposed to look like.
Well, and I'm in the between here. I don't want our people going down setting things up. Because if that table folds in, I don't want them blaming us. Well, I had this $100,000 piece of equipment sitting on here and it folded in. I don't want them blaming us, because they have that obligation and responsibility. But we have to have some oversight somehow of taking somebody in there, because you're gonna give them a key, you're gonna show them, taking somebody in there, okay, this is what it looked like when you got it, this is what it better look like when you return it. I don't see any place in here where we have a cleaning fee on any of this stuff. So that we put a cleaning fee on stuff, and then if it doesn't come back the way we want it, the problem with that is sometimes they just won't clean because they paid the cleaning fee, and then we have the obligation to do it. So there's both sides of it there.
But they can also be blacklisted and never be able to rent the place out again if it's not done the correct way.
True, but I don't want our employees having to spend
No.
11 hours down
No.
there, setting up,
That's what I
taking
was
down, making 2 trips down there. I mean, I don't want that.
No.
And so I think that part of this, we gotta have some experience. What we're trying to do right now is just get a starting point that
I think
will be
you gotta-
adjustable.
I think you gotta run it for a little bit and see what happens.
Mhm.
I know it sounds crazy, but we actually do need to have some events in there. And I would almost start, like you're saying, kind of hands off. Like you start, you're going the exact opposite, you're saying the exact opposite?
No, if you're gonna do what we're talking about here, now if it's like these other situations, you know, 'cause where it's just huh?
Building.
Pavilion?
Pavilion, I could not think of that word, I'm sorry. Just brain dead on that. But where we have equipment or tables or whatever you want in there, say something goes wrong and someone gets hurt, or a table or a chair falls down and breaks a toddler's leg, okay? If we don't have some type of contract in there discussing what that happens, that opens us to huge liability. Now, I agree that there needs to be a step to try and figure out how to expedite this faster, and that's something that I'll work on, hopefully within the next couple of days, because that's obviously a pressing issue. With regard to this Saturday,
I mean, I don't have one, but that's just an example.
But that's a
What
no.
if?
I mean, even according to this contract, they gotta get their money to you how many days in advance? 30 days in advance.
Oh, then.
I mean, according to this.
Then all of the ones that
Right
we
here.
have to sign today would be not valid because they're all in this month.
But I'm just saying, that's what
And
it
this
says
is
right
what-
here in
that's-
this contract.
That's what legal sent
They
me.
pay their fees this much in advance. And they have their insurance to us 10 days in advance, I think it says in here. I mean, so,
That's what it says. But really, I think that's, to me, as long as they get that certificate of insurance before the event happens, that's the main thing that I would want. It's more about these people and what they think is their administrative time to make all that happen, so.
So legally, Ian, like, when we look at our pavilions, we have park benches under there, we have picnic tables under there. So I think we're gonna run into the same or similar liabilities with access to tables or chairs or any of those things. And so
a pavilion is more like a park than it's gonna be like this.
I agree.
And if you've got
100%.
picnic tables that you're talking about, are there these picnic tables that possibly could fall on someone?
They've been lifted up on top of the pavilions before by kids.
Yeah, but there's that one piece thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So-
You're still different lanes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to throw out there like, okay, let's just throw all the cards on the table because
Yeah.
we're
Well,
trying to
and I'm
evaluate
just-
it. Let's just figure this out.
Yeah, and I'm jumping into this today too, looking at this and trying to figure out some of the possibilities and how to figure it out as quickly as possible. But at the same time also going, you know, a table falls on a kid, and cleaning up after a wedding reception and breaks their legs or whatever, you know, there's gonna be, people are people, they're gonna do what they need to do. And I'm just trying to make sure that we have everything in place to protect the fair board, well, the county in general, from all of that. Because it's always the little things, I know, and this is the lawyer thing, that my job is to look for those possible risks and address those ahead.
Sure.
So,
I can
I'm
tell
not
you-
trying to make this difficult. We jumped into a contract and we're trying to,
From that one event, I can tell you, if you're not hands-on, setting up and tearing down, and keeping people safe, making sure how they decorate isn't gonna tear the place up, that place will look like Building B, and I don't think we want that. Like, I want it to stay nice and new. I don't want the floors, like, I think it's a whole different beast from Building B. But I can just tell you, from tearing that thing down, you're gonna have table racks tipping over, chair racks tipping over. I just think it needs to be more hands-on than Building B or a pavilion. And I'm telling you, if it's not gonna stay nice and new if we're not involved.
But if you're paying staff to be down there for an entire event, and you're paying, $500, $600, $700, $800 a day for staff to be there 11 hours, and you're making $500 on the event.
And you're going over on your time.
We had it torn down in 4 hours, for 150 people.
I think that we need to step back a little bit. I think we can go over these contracts today and sign them. I think we're okay.
the contracts are fine.
But I think we need an MOU between the Fair Board and the Commission so that everybody knows their roles and responsibilities. So we're all on the same page, because we're all talking different a little bit different directions. You guys have your corner over here, and we have our corner over here, and we need to be right here. So we need to have an MOU that everybody's on the same page. Everybody understand, this is what our responsibilities are. Because of wages, because of, you are a Bannock County employee, and you're a Bannock County employee, but you're a Fair Board employee also. So you have, how many people are on your board?
Stuck in the middle.
8. You have 8 different bosses. I mean, in reality. And so I think that that's one thing that we need to get settled right now. Jonathan was working on that.
Yeah.
And so let's get that done, and then we can come back and make these adjustments, because I think we have to look at each facility a little bit different, whether it's the event center, whether it's the arenas, the covered arena. Each one of them have different obligations from us that we need to put into the contract. Everybody's do's and don'ts. I think that we need to spell that out. And each event center, or each piece of this event center may have a little bit different contract. We may have a different contract if they want a pavilion. We may have a different contract if they want the RV rental. The event center would be a different contract because of what we expect out of that. How are we going to keep this? I mean, I've gone in churches after receptions and stuff, been the person that has to go clean up, and some people do an amazing job and some people don't. But we got to know what our expectations are, in my opinion. But I think the first thing we need to do is get this relationship MOU signed so that everybody knows exactly where we're at with the Fair Board and the commission.
And not just that, there's risks. I mean, we're not gonna put horses inside of the event, building, but, so I think I have a tendency to agree that we may need to treat, that new facility a little bit different than what we would treat an arena or whatever. I'm not sure one contract fits all here because of the pavilions versus an RV spot. What are our obligations? What are our risks? And what is the risk to the public? And I appreciate Dan saying, man, there's a great investment down there. It's a big time, but it could be destroyed in a hurry. You put the wrong person in there, even though we can go back against them. So I think I agree. I think nobody gets their nose bloodied here. We're learning from this. What can we do from an employee standpoint? Our employees they are Bannock County employees, even though they're under the jurisdiction and the oversight of the Fair Board. I think we've got a jello full of lots of stuff in here, and I agree. I agree that let's take care of the contracts on a one-by-one basis as we go right now, as quickly as possible. We got to figure out a way to approve something quicker, whether that's a process that if we need this done within 48 hours without it being on the thing, what can we do? Can we get approval through the commissioners, through the Fair Board, whatever it needs to be? But we've got to work on this process.
Fall into that also.
Well, some of them, I think that.
Ian had
Go ahead.
So here's the thing, is that one of the things we can look at in certain circumstances, a simple fee agreement that isn't a contract, like for pavilions and that, is an option that we can look into. And I'll have John on top of this, and I'll help out immediately. We'll try to get this sorted out so we don't have this stuff popping up. This is one of those things that needs immediate attention, and we'll get this done.
It's kind of the same for arenas though too.
No, it is the same for arenas.
I mean, what if they called and said, I want to do a 4-hour open or something?
So we do have that on our fee schedule for our arenas.
But that's a contract.
We did take some of we have taken some of that stuff, like we've pulled the grandstand off of the fee schedule, right?
Yep.
Because it originally was on the fee schedule. My suggestion would be pull this off the fee schedule. Don't have $50 an hour anywhere on this thing. Because you really need to look at each contract to look at our actual cost to determine whether or not it's something you guys can do. That'd be my suggestion, at least for the venue down in Downey.
So do a daily fee only, like a
I think
I
that
might
you
drop
have-
that all mark too.
I think that it just has to, you just have to look at it, like, when we do people rent the grandstands, we just have to look at the event, right? So like monster trucks, when they want to come up there, they do a lot of damage. They put a lot of, they leave metal doors on our, it takes a lot for us to clean up. It's not a $500 fee, right? So the monster trucks, it's a bigger agreement, and all those do come before the
That
commission.
is.
So.
That's exactly what you're looking at. with
Yeah,
this.
so that's what I think. I think you kill the fee on this and you just bring them before the commission. You can kind of calculate out an hourly wage, or an hourly rate for setup, tear down, some of the general maintenance that you're looking at, so that you knew in general what it would be. So it might be, look, for somebody to rent this for an hour or for 4 hours, it doesn't matter. It's still gonna cost $250.
To set up.
Right? So like, whatever that actual cost is, more reflective of our actual cost, would probably be the way I would address that. And I do think that some of our stuff they're just fee agreements.
So like this one on here that's on here to be signed it's 2 hours, they want the building, it's $100. But it's gonna cost us twice that for staff to go down and set up, tear down, do all that stuff. I mean, do we just tell meetings for 2 hours? The building's not available? I mean,
And that's part of what
That'll be part of the MOU as well, because those are some details that we'll have to hammer out as to whether or not we say, well, there's time limits or requirements, because we'll have to demonstrate those. These are, if you want X, think of it like those Chinese restaurant dinner menus. If you want X, B or C options that come with it, or if you want A, then this or that. So that's something that we'll have to hammer out in an MOU between the Fair Board and the Commission to make sure those details are set out straight. So that will open the door to making sure that we do a better job of addressing this, because the reality is that building's awesome and we'd like to keep, I'm sure at Fair Board everybody wants to keep it great. And so we're gonna have to take more specific steps in how we utilize it, and it'll be a pain in the neck for us to try to put this all together, but in the end, I think it'll prevent both people that want to use the facility and the county to keep it running better.
We're just looking at the fee schedule, and the exhibit hall is $500 for a day.
Yeah.
Well, does that include the kitchen?
no, it says right underneath.
Does that include the conference room?
Nope.
Well,
Well, it doesn't say that here. All it says is this is what it is for this, this, and this. Well, you can't rent the kitchen area by itself.
it says right underneath, next to kitchen, it says when needed with the building.
Okay, that's not on this that I have.
It says
I mean,
kitchen
since
area with exhibit hall rental.
Yeah, you're not gonna rent the kitchen all by itself.
Well, and that's what I'm saying when
But-
I'm looking at this. When I just come down and I go down and start looking at
And then
the,
it says conference room without exhibit hall rental.
And that language.
That you could,
It says right on there.
yeah.
yeah.
But if I, like I'm saying, if I'm renting the exhibit hall, do I think that I got all of that? That, by looking at this, it looks to me like if I rent the exhibit hall, I got the kitchen, I got the full facility.
I think by turning it into like we talked about, kill the fee, turn it into a contract, evaluate the real
It
cost.
says.
And then I go down here, I don't know what this other one is, monthly vendor fee for $90
That's
per
the one
month.
that I worked with Scott, because I went off what Scott does up there when we have a vendor that comes down for different
That's like
events.
a food truck.
And
So
we
if
got
it's
that
a
from
food
Scott.
truck.
So, Commissioner, with regard to that language specifically, under that description, the way the kitchen area is underneath with exhibit hall, my reading of that would have been the exhibit hall is exclusively on its own.
On by itself.
Yeah. Now granted, obviously, after years and years of practicing law, my brain doesn't work like everybody else's anymore. Maybe we can,
Well, like I
add another
said,
line in there that says
it
kitchen
flat
not
out.
included.
Well, you put an asterisk there to
Yeah.
where they dropped down and said, does not include kitchen.
Yeah.
We just need, as I say, with all of us looking at everything, we're gonna look at something different. Every one of us will look at something different, but, well, and we can do, I think we
You wanna
can
see that stuff?
chew it up and spit it out a little more, I think, to get it.
But I wouldn't give anybody
Vendor is what-
down there, I wouldn't allow anybody just to pull in there and do a vending for $90 a month.
So typically, the vending has to be associated with an event. And, but yeah, they have to get them all approved through us. So
In
a lot
4
of
years,
our-
we've used it once.
Yeah, a lot of our contracts that do that, but there are people that do want to just pull in there and start vending, and so we go over and talk to them, make sure they have an agreement, because people want to sell stuff at rodeos, and as long as they've paid for the vending fee, which we had this discussion, it was probably a couple of years ago, We tried to go a little bit higher, but we've been able to kind of.
So what do you charge your vendors at the fair?
Depends on what they sell. It's $100, $200, or $300.
And we're allowing a monthly fee that they can just come in here right now and rent that facility for $90 a month.
We just went off of what,
Well, I'm just saying,
And we
we're
do
going
it-
over all this just to correct some of the things that I think that are out there.
the only
Because
time we've used it
honestly-
is when we had a horse show down there and a vendor came in for the weekend.
I think a vendor should only be there if there's an event there.
Right,
I don't
and that's
want-
all we-
I don't want them
let vendors
there
just
at
come
other
in.
times. There's plenty of other parking lots around
If
these
somebody
communities they
wants-
could
if somebody
go
wants
to.
to do a monthly vending, that's totally different.
Right.
And again, when they come in and talk to us about doing that stuff, we talk about that. Like, there's factors there too, like they don't get a plug into our power unless they have an electrical inspection. And if they're gonna plug into our power, then we need to make sure that we know how long they're gonna be there. There's a lot that goes into that, but the vending fee just allows them access to our property during an event.
And
But that's all I'm saying is that they charge $100 or more. You got a vendor right now, according to this fee schedule, that could come in there the month of August and say, $90, here's your $90, I want to be a vendor here for the month of August. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, until we tell them no, which I think our verbiage is the same, they just copied it straight out there.
We
So if
do.
we-
And all this is highlighted as a red vendor fee. It doesn't say anything
It's just
about
a
it.
new- It's just a new thing, so it's like it's just for food trucks, and maybe that's what it should be,
Well,
food truck vendors, but it's clothing vendors too,
Truthfully, even if you just remove the word monthly, it's gonna say vendor fee.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then what we're probably gonna want as well, because if the issues with electricity are the same up there, I don't know if you have a contract for specific vendor usage of any of the facilities down at the fairgrounds. So we may have to have a separate,
We do have a vendor contract, I can email over to you.
Yeah, please do that.
And it's one that's used just for fair.
yeah.
And all the vendor fees for fair are listed up above.
Yeah, we can do that, and maybe we broaden that out to include events, because like they've been saying, and even what you're saying is, a horse show is the only other time someone's come down for it. So if you have horse shows, or maybe, I don't know how much rodeo goes down there, but events like that, then,
Last year, we had 3 horse shows and 1 barrel clinic, and that's what we have scheduled so far this year.
I don't want vendors on our property unless
See,
they're
and
tied to
the caveat with that
something
is,
there.
the sad part is that right across the street from our arena is the city RV, and if we don't charge a vendor fee, they set up over across the street, so we don't. So
You
we
didn't go
really,
across
it
the
hasn't
street.
been a problem.
When we had COVID, the city of Downey allowed them on the city property,
Right.
which was in the.
So
right across
like for
parking lot.
example, this is gonna come up in the next one that we're gonna talk about, that this Downey Elementary PTO, that they are having it as a street event, but in the case of inclement weather, they wanna use the building. They got a sponsor to pay for the full fee, $500, and she's got food trucks and vendors coming. So what she's done is she's already went to the city of Downey, and they're closing off the street in front of the building, and she's putting all of her food trucks and vendors out there. So we don't have, we won't have any vendors on our property, but we'll still be there to support the event because the property's so intermingled between city and county down there.
oh yeah, no. But if
So-
they're not actually on, you know. county
And then her
property,
bouncy
then-
houses, she's gonna put right next door at the city park. So all she's gonna have in our
That's-
building
That's their
is,
choice, if they wanna have the
merchandise
liability of,
vendors and music.
Yeah.
they can put them over on that tennis court all they want.
Right.
And we can't control that, so.
So the monthly, like I said, in 4 years down there, we used the monthly vendor one time, and that was when I asked Scott about it last year, and it was for a horse show. And the next 2 horse shows that they had, the same series, she put it across the street at the RV park. So it's, if we tell them no, they're gonna find a way around it. They'll put it right behind the fence at the tennis courts.
We'll deal with it.
A lot of our contracts that we have, like Pocatello Downs or Friday Night Flag Football, or even our football contract, they have vendors in there. So it tells them they can have 3 vendors, right? High school rodeo, they bring in a lot of vendors, right? But everybody still pays us their vendor fee. If they want to sell something on our property, they pay us the fee. Typically, it's because they need stuff from us, right? They need us to, they need power or location or water, or so they need something. So that's what that vendor fee is for, is just if you're going to sell on our property, regardless of who you're here with, it's, you gotta pay us that money. However, you also have to be associated with an event. And we did battle the icy guy a few years ago about this because he wanted to set up a shop, and we had to go and kind of fight this fight. But again, that was something that we worked with legal on and got it squared away, so.
Well, I go back, we'll go ahead and go through these contracts now. Let's do the
So
MOU.
can I ask just one more question
Let's-
for legal real quick before? So we sign a ton of contracts and vendor contracts for Fair Week, and it's all signed by the Fair Board. And that's the way it's always been. I mean, the Fair Board signs all contracts associated with fair. And that's all of our rodeos, our
Yeah.
entertainment, our vendors, our,
I think that's
Are
different
we-
because that's allocated
It's allocated to the fair.
for the Fair Week.
but according to him,
But
Fair Board
Bannock County
can't.
property, the other 50 weeks of the year, under our control. That's how that state
That's in
statute.
statute.
That's in statute.
Yeah, that's a different story. I mean, I get on the surface, it looks the same, but the fair is set up as a separate thing in general. That's why the Fair Board statutorily exists, is to serve that purpose.
I just want to make sure that we're not going to get in trouble for, I don't want the Fair Board to get in trouble because they've been signing all those.
No, that's not going to
And
change.
I don't see that happening. I think we're fine there.
And behind the scenes part of that is that actually, because, and we're gonna go through that in just a minute, the commissioner's report has every bill that you guys pay.
Right.
And then we okay that and sign that.
Yeah. So the Fair Board, sorry, I'm researching it while we're talking here, but the Fair Board is good to sign contracts for the week of the fair, for that purpose. That's something that we don't have to have the commissioners involved with. It's, like I said, statutorily, that's all delineated on its own right. But, you know, concessions or vendors that come across any other time, that's gonna be a different story that we'll have to look into. And even looking at that, I think, and granted, this will probably happen in further review, but removing even just the work monthly, so your vendor fee is $90, and if you're gonna come there and you're gonna vend, then the frequency, with like what you're talking about, isn't such that you're gonna have to worry about it apparently a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in 4 years it's happened one time, and that was when I called Scott's
Yeah.
contract.
And just the one, just to clarify, the reason it's on our report is the Fair Board, through a contract with us, has authorized us to be the accounting agent
Right.
of the funds. That's
Yeah,
why
we're
the
running our
commissioners
financials
approve
through
all
the
of that
county.
on a regular basis. Even though you guys approve it, you've authorized us to cut the checks, to
Right.
monitor that and everything else. That's where our oversight is on that. Not to tell you guys how, but there is a budget set up. We have been contracted to
Right.
maintain
Run our
that function.
financials and our payroll.
And your payroll. And because that's why the county employees are there, because of that agreement that we've made. But the other 50 weeks out of the year, including even all the buildings, which are county buildings, that's where all these contracts we have to deal with by statute. And even though you guys operate our buildings and everything else, it's still ultimately our responsibility to take care of all these contracts.
Okay, so can I ask a question? On 22-204, it says, "The county fair board shall be charged with the care and custody of all property belonging to the county and used for fair purposes, and shall be responsible for all monies received by it." And then lower down, it says, "It shall take charge of and manage all such property as the county may have acquired or set aside for fair purposes pursuant to the provisions of section 31-822. That doesn't say that we are just for that 1 week.
There's if you were a standalone organization, that is absolutely true, but there was an agreement between the Fair Board and the county that instead of you taking all the monies and you're responsible for all of that, the county is your agent in that event, and it is county property.
Oh, we know that.
I know, and that's what I say,
Yeah.
it's, we're muddy in the water, it is, and the Fair Board gets to take care of all that property under the direction of, because ultimately that is our property. The county is ultimately responsible for every building down there.
So what's is the fair board only have that, basically that 1 week?
Well,
Yes.
yes,
Just plain and simple, yes.
Wait a minute, what specifically do you mean when you say that 1 week?
Like,
The week of the
No,
fair.
no, but what I'm saying is like, the fair board only when you're talking about any limited sort of restrictions, I'm trying to understand this. Because what I'm saying is that for the fair week, that you're good to sign the contracts, that would not have to come through them.
Mhm.
That doesn't adjust any other privileges, but during the week of fair week, that power is specifically not imposed, but given to the fair board to do that.
But it says here that if there are those grounds, that we are to, it's absolutely county property. I'm not saying that, but what it's saying in there is that we only have that for 1 week. But yet we're taking care of these things all year long, not just 1 week.
Now, where specifically, which paragraph are you reading from?
Okay, so go to 22-204.
Yep.
It's in the very first part, duties of county fair board, right below that. And then you'll jump down to where it says, it shall take charge of and manage all such property as the county may have acquired or set aside for fair purposes. It doesn't just say for during the fair.
Okay.
To the provisions of section 31-822.
This is where I'm telling you we need an MOU, because we've talked about this before. I come down and talk to y'all. I says, you want to take care of everything? You want everything? And you all come back and says, no, we want to work with you. We want to have a relationship. We want to have your attorney work with us. We want to have Christie work with you. You guys all agreed to that. So and we've said many times, you guys want to cover insurance? You guys want to cover everything? We can do that. And you guys all chose not to.
Well, and we're good with, we're not even complaining about the money there, but it's talking about the grounds themselves.
And it's up to the commission to decide what grounds are the fairs, is available for the fair. The new convention center, exhibit hall, we've always said that's not the fairs. That come out of ARPA funds.
No, exactly, but it's still on the fairgrounds.
No,
Also
not if we don't decide that it is. That's up to the commission to decide whether it's on fairgrounds or not. You read it there.
And we're also under 200,000 as far as our population in the county.
That's right.
And so it's like we're not supposed to be, okay, this is my deal. You guys are, we're the teachers, you're the parents. Trust us to take care of your baby. Trust us to be adults and do our job the way we've been doing it without feeling like we're being stuck in this 1 week, but make sure you take care of the rest. We want to take care of the rest. We're responsible. We're adults. Allow us to be that. Allow us.
This has gone on ever since I've been in here. It's been an argument. Sheldon's come in and thrown that stuff in my face ever since I've been here. That's where I'm saying, we need an MOU.
Okay.
We need something that says, this is what the responsibilities of the fair board is, this is what the commission is responsible for. 100%. Because I'm tired of this same argument and the same discussion.
If you want to talk in my office another time, I'll walk through the statutes with you.
I would love that.
Okay.
And this is the third set of attorneys that have said the exact same thing.
I've just been dealing with state asking questions.
And like I told you, we're more than willing. You want the whole facility, we'll turn it over to you. But that means you're not a county employee, you're not a county employee. Well, you don't come to our attorney, you don't come to our, to Christie. You guys take care of it.
And that's
We've
what
offered
I'm
that.
saying is that we're saying we
That's
want
what it all
on
says in
the
there.
farm.
That's what it says in there. We want to take this part and we want to use it and we want to not listen to this part. What part? If we're going to do the whole thing, do the whole thing. If not, it's an agreement, an MOU between the fair board and the commission.
I'll get an appointment with you and I'll come and talk.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
If you want, you can walk down to my office.
Okay, I'll do that.
Just go sit.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's go through these.
I just want to know if I can, do I have to bring every single contract to you right now? Right now, is that?
If it's a contract,
So,
you
and
need to
if
sign
there's
it.
somebody that
Every
wants it
single
this week and I have to tell them no?
What's that?
If somebody wants it this weekend and it's for 2 hours, I have to say,
Somebody wants
whether
to-
it's an arena, whether it's at the building, whatever,
If you do get something like that, call me and we'll work through the legalities of it and see what we can figure out. And just looking at that, I'll reach out to the commissioners and try to touch them if it's something that I think they need to sign a contract on. If this is something that can fall more in the category of fee agreement, then that'll be a different story. But if
So, 'cause
something
I-
like that pops up,
I have 2 more that I've got this week alone that didn't make it because I couldn't have it turned in by Friday. One, I know that I have to bring before the commission because it's a 4-H waiver. I asked if we could probably maybe do it because Nikki was here. And the other one is for a farewell luncheon for a missionary, and they want the building for 2 hours.
When is
But
that?
now I have to wait, tell them that I can't even get it on the agenda till next Thursday.
It's Sunday,
this Sunday,
this Sunday.
It's not till the 26th,
Oh, 26.
so there's time.
April,
But, I mean, there is going to be an occasion when they call and say, can I use it this Sunday?
no, and that's part of what we will figure out
Okay.
and incorporate into an MOU.
Okay.
So my question of it is, we have given authorization that if they are full schedule or full fee payment, we don't need to sign off on them. I mean, you guys sign off.
I think that's
Full
what,
fee.
Ian's-
Again, I guess that's where we're at, is if it's according to the fee schedule, that's the only thing we have right now. If it's full fee, we don't have to sign off on that. You're authorized to sign off on that?
That's my question, am I? I mean, you guys do it up
'Cause
there.
you're doing it up there, and I don't see any sense of having to have it come, if it's a full fee. But if it's less than fee, then we have that right to
Right.
come and do
Waived
it,
or
unless we
reduced.
authorize that.
And what's the requirement if it's not full fee?
Well, I gotta bring the people with me. We gotta come talk to you.
Right,
We
and
don't do
I,
any fee, we don't do any fee waivers. The only thing that we do, like, so we talk about B building, pavilions, and then just for your mental note too, arenas, horse arenas. So if somebody rents a horse arena, we will go in and groom it for them. If they pay the full fee, we'll go in and groom it for them. But that's what we do for anybody that uses, that rents our arenas. So
Right.
we'll go and groom the arena for them, but then they have full access to the arena, whatever they need to do, so. But we do have a lot of full fee arena rentals, like a lot. So, and if it's in a contract, I'll bring it to you guys. But usually if it's in a contract, there's gonna be some other component like we did with Chris Freed. They rent the arena every Wednesday night, pay full fee. So like, that's something we sign off on, so.
well, I mean, just like Scott, you have to trust me to know when it's an extraordinary circumstances where I think, and you and I talked about it, if it's something that's a little iffy, I'm going to bring it to you and say, do you think that this is safe and should the county get into this? I'm not going to, but a 2-hour meeting for an open meeting for a canal, I mean, do I have to tell them to wait 2.5 weeks to come in, which is fine. I just need to know where I'm at.
So aren't they just using the conference room?
He's got over 100 people coming, so they're using the main, so he's paying $100.
At
And
this-
it's the one that's in
At
here.
this time right now, go ahead and go with this.
Yeah.
And they're paying full fee, go ahead and do it. But
But I want a record that I'm not gonna get in trouble for signing something that
it's coming around that we'll figure out what we're gonna do with all this.
Yeah.
Because each thing may have a different contract. Because like I said, this one says that they gotta have money to you 30 days in advance. This one says they gotta have the insurance to you 10 days in advance. I mean, that's what's in the contract. So that means that they shouldn't be able to just come the day before and say, I wanna get the building.
Well, and here's the thing, is we can make modifications. If that's gonna be a common occurrence where you're gonna have someone who wants to rent out the building even for full fee, 2 days in advance, the very language in this contract makes that prohibitive. So we can retune this to address those issues.
You may need to
If you've got-
redefine the process,
Yeah,
the decision tree. You have the decision, if
Is this the same
you
contract
meet
you're
this, if you go this way, then it requires something else, so. I
yours
don't know.
probably says the same thing.
We just don't have that process in place right now.
Yeah.
Number one, we don't have an MOU. Number two, we probably need to look at these contracts, whether they really need to come, whether you're authorized to sign those. under what conditions, and under what timetable. I agree that if somebody can use that building down there and they need it in 2 days, can we make it happen?
Right.
But what are the conditions that could happen? I don't know,
Insurance.
you know,
Well, then
again,
do we require insurance for a missionary farewell luncheon in the building?
well, somebody needs to sign that says I am insured. I don't know how, we need to talk about that.
Because you guys don't require
We do
insurance
require-
for
we require-
pavilions and stuff.
Not for pavilions, but for people.
I did not put the 10-day requirement in there, that was already in there.
Yeah, I know, like I said, I just
Clean it up.
started reading through all this stuff.
So I agree
got
with
it.
Ian, if timelines need to be adjusted, I'm fine with that. I just more made suggestions on coverage language, so.
The discussion on this was, how do we correct it? What do we need? What do we want? I mean, that's what I thought our discussion was supposed to be about
Right,
on this deal.
right.
All right,
So,
let's do contracts.
So let's-
well, here's the thing is I'll say is, we can do these contracts now, but there's, you know, for the time being, but I'm guessing after we meet and work on an MOU, this contract's gonna be significantly modified. So this is.
100%, that's
very-
why we're here.
So in the meantime, I can use what we have.
You can use what you have, and if you got someone that wants to, you know, use it within that window of time that's too late.
Well, I have another lady that called me Monday, and she wants to use it on April 20th for 1 hour conference room, $25. Did I require her to have insurance? I mean, it's in the building. It's a 25-hour meeting because something is under construction in Downey. I mean, see, my question is, I just don't want to tell her yes without bringing it to here if I have to bring it here first. But I don't, if it was this next Monday, I wouldn't have time to get it on the agenda.
You know, the other thing we can look at, Matthew Phillips, HR and Risk Director, we can look at revising that language. I think I had sent one draft maybe to Shanda when she was working on it, where, you know, the sizes of event kind of determined whether insurance was needed or the type of event. So yeah, a small meeting with 4 people in a conference room is not the same risk that we're worried about with, like Scott gave the example of a monster truck event, right?
Right.
So maybe there's other language that, you know, as we go through this revision, that we can say,
That'd be
hey,
great.
this is what triggers it. So I think we just need to have those discussions.
That
As
was
far
good,
as the
yeah.
interim, I defer to you all, but we can work with you on insurance language so that and it's not just about risk, there's risk in everything, it's just whether we're appropriately transferring the risk, and not assuming risk as the county that we don't need to take on. So, you know, we're open, I think we can work through those language type things.
Okay,
Perfect.
let's see if we can go through these contracts.
First one I have is a 4-H waiver request for Nikki. She wants to use it during spring break for a 4-H event,
Who's spring break?
Marsh Valleys. She's using it April 3rd.
The spring break ends tomorrow.
Well, the hotel,
Yeah.
yeah. But at Marsh Valley, we're gonna do a livestock weekend on Friday.
So basically what it is you'd be waiving $500 because she'd be using it for the day.
So if we charge you, who's paying for it? Bannock County or University of Idaho?
It would be Bannock County because I don't have any money from U of I, so if I have to pay it, I'm not gonna do it.
I'm giving you a bad time.
Use the city park, it's free.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'll make the motion, we waive the fee on that and authorize that use.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 So there is a second one that like I said, I received this week. I don't know if you want to talk about it when Nikki's here. I know it does require, and I can show you my email. I emailed him back, said you have to go with me, but I thought Nikki presented it for him last year. Maybe it's just easier than coming back in 2 or 3 weeks. He can only get certain Thursdays off during the month. So it's going to be kind of a hardship for him to come in. That's why Nikki presented it last year for him.
Volunteers to get time off during the day to meet, so.
So, and it,
So,
what is it? It's Marsh Valley Homesteaders. They want to use it for an hour and a half, the arena, twice a week, from April through July. And it's the 4-H group practice for fair.
this is a contract that we signed in the past with them.
Yes. And I can send it over to you if you want to look at it. But if you want me to come back in 2 weeks, I will. I just figured if he can't get off work, Nikki's gonna come with me anyway, so it's up to you guys.
Well, that's usually the rules, is if you want to.
And I did, I can show you, I emailed him, I said, you have to go with me.
If you want to break, come and tell us why. Tell us what your experience is, tell us what's going on.
I'll bring him back.
Because I expect them to come and help clean up the fairgrounds. I expect them to, during the fair, I expect them to participate, and I want to ask people, do you know what 988 is?
I'll bring him back in a couple weeks.
I'll just ask you a question. Do you know what 988 is?
No.
That's a resource hotline for crisis. It used to be called a suicide line, but now it's a crisis line. And it's something that's been going on for a few years, but in all our events, we don't advertise for it. We don't let people know what it is. And it's something that I think that we need to start letting people know. We have Idaho, it's in the top 5 for suicides in the United States. I think that each organization that comes in and asks for a reduced fare or a reduced fee, they ought to have that on their brochure, 988.
So on this contract, just like the one we have one similar at our event center. Technically, it's the 4-H that's asking the fee for the fee waiver. He's just the person that's putting on the course. So the 4-H is asking for the fee waiver on behalf of somebody, that volunteer that's going to put on the course. So technically, she's the one asking for the fee waiver, not the horseman.
So do we make a commitment out of her
Yeah, I get it.
and this guy that you're gonna do these things? You're gonna come down, you're gonna have the kids there? I mean, and every time they leave the arena, they walk through and they clean it up so that Alex doesn't have to come clean up after them. I mean, these are the questions that I ask of
And
people.
those are my expectations of the volunteers in 4-H anyways, that they make sure things are cleaned up, and then they do show up for fair cleanup also, like that. I mean, we had our biggest showing last year, and we cleaned up the fairgrounds, like, that's an expectation.
And they help paint, and they do, yeah, they do a lot of stuff.
We give them a list.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they do.
Alex gives them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. See, that's the response I like to hear back, is what happens. I'd go ahead and make a motion that we allow the 4-H group from Marsh Valley to utilize the facility
For waived fees.
for a waived fee.
I agree.
Got a motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is that one that we need to sign?
Yeah. Yeah, and then it'll just go down with the others to Christy, and then she'll send it to me. Thank you. The next one is Franson Civil Engineers. They are doing a public scope meeting for a Plan EA project. They want the exhibit building for 2 hours on April 22nd from 7 to 9 p.m. Full fees. He's paying the $100. But then we run into if Alex and I have to be there, 5 o'clock to set up and tear down till 9, 10 o'clock at night. That's where we're running into do the full fees offset the wages of the staff.
I think until the MOU is signed and the contract is revisited, we just have to stick with what we got.
Do what we can.
Okay. You want us to trust people, we're trusting people.
Good.
I mean, that's the key right there.
We have such a good group.
And,
We just really do.
Yeah. At some point, we gotta use good judgment. If something smells like a skunk, it probably is a skunk. And we need to be careful with that. But if a good reputable group, we can trust them to do that. We can trust everybody once. Well, maybe not everybody. But let's give this a whirl and see how it's working out, so.
So is this one that, it's got up to 50 attendees, is this one that would require insurance? Because I did not ask him for insurance, because it's a low risk meeting,
How many attendees?
up to 50. I mean, it's a public,
And is this entity nonprofit or private?
it's for required public scoping meeting for a Plan EA project through NRCS grant.
And are they a private organization or a?
Well, the guy that-
It's an open meeting.
It's an
So
open
they
meeting
don't know
for-
how many people are gonna show up. They're
Yeah.
just doing an open meeting.
And the guy, his
Sorry,
name's-
the hosting agency. Who
it's
who are they?
Franson Civil Engineers, just because he's the chair of this group.
They probably have insurance already then.
I'd ask them for insurance.
Yeah, if they're an
Copy of their
engineering firm, they already
certificate.
have insurance, just ask them for a certificate.
They all have copies of their certificate they get us.
Okay.
Just have it on file.
Okay.
I'll make the motion, we approve that one.
And I'll get the insurance and catch it.
Do you have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then the last one is the Downey Elementary PTO City of Downey. This is a fundraiser for the school. We talked about that just a few minutes ago. It actually, if you look at the back page, it actually is a street event. She wants to use the building as a backup in case of inclement weather. And so you and I had the conversation, what if somebody else wants the building and she doesn't want to pay it because she ends up using Main Street. This is one of the ones that I would bring to you full fee anyway. She will provide insurance because she's got event insurance, but
Just one where they're renting it for $500.
Yes.
she's putting the the vendors out in the street, so they're on city property. She's already got the street closed. All the bouncy houses, all that kind of high-risk stuff going next door at the park. She's got some other vendors like selling crocheted items or whatever, craft vendors or whatever that she would have up and down Main Street, but she'd put those in the building, and then she's got Lane Bowen planned for the day.
My only question is, I think we need to limit what activity goes inside the building.
I mean,
We
you could
want
have
bouncy
20
houses, we don't
people
want-
come through, or you could have 500 kids with snow cones and cotton candy come through.
Yeah,
So it's up to you. I don't, it's up to you.
It's full fee and insurance,
Well, it is full fee.
and
but-
insurance.
But
They need to have it- they
this
need
is
to
an
have
event that I would
insurance
ask, is it something we want to put in that
Well, I
building?
don't want somebody in the bouncing house over on the city property coming over and blaming the county. And then
Yeah.
water, sewer, bathrooms, I mean, you're gonna run that number of people, they're not gonna have the bathrooms outside. They're gonna need to be
Right.
coming in and using our facilities and
Are
stuff.
they renting it regardless of weather?
She only wants it as a backup.
including
not-
no
If it's
bathrooms.
nice weather, then
So
she's gonna
not
use Main
going-
Street.
So she's not going to rent it, so it's
She
like
can
she's,
have the bathrooms right.
And
there.
she had to get a sponsor for full fees, and they would pay the $500.
So
I
they're
mean,
gonna-
like, if they're renting it regardless of weather, then I think you could.
If they come in and cancel the day before, they get their money back. If they use our facility, they don't get their money back.
I think they'll want the facilities to back up regardless. I think they'll pay for it.
Yeah,
Which, does that include restrooms?
well, yeah.
I mean, so we're not gonna.
She doesn't want the
So we're not
kitchen.
gonna open the building at all
There is one right
unless,
next to it, at the tennis courts, there's a double bathroom.
right.
She wants the exhibit
Let me
building
make
if it's
sure
bad
that's
weather.
clear that just in case doesn't include us letting them work our bathrooms over. It's either.
No, because
it's either all of it
if she
or-
doesn't use the building, it's gonna be on Main Street, which is what, 2-3 blocks away? So they wouldn't be in our building anyway, they'd be on Main Street.
Okay.
But like I said, she's already been to the city, got the street blocked off and the food vendors, and she's gonna put them in the middle of the street so they're not on county property.
My problem of it is, are you gonna accept $500 and then Christie's gonna cuss us because then we gotta disperse it back? Or can they just put a credit card on file or something? Are we set up now to where we can set up credit cards so that we only use that credit card if they use it? Because then it's easier to the accounting system not have to return. Because once that check comes in, we have to put it in the bank.
Right.
And then we have to get authorization to disperse it. So are we set up at all for
I
credit
think she'll
card?
know within a couple days of the event if she's gonna have it there. I
yeah.
might get a check from her
Christie
then.
does not like reimbursement.
No,
Right.
they're not.
I agree with her.
Reimbursements. So-
I agree with
So
her.
that's one of the reasons that some of our events, we collect once they've used the venue, but it just depends on, again, the relationship we have with people. If they've never used the venue before, you're paying up front.
We know where the Downey Elementary is, so it's not like it's a,
Well, and I mean, in an event like this, if we knew that, the day before, she's gonna know.
okay.
And Alex or I or Delenn, one of us is gonna have to be down there to show them around
Yeah.
where things are. We can collect a check.
Okay.
So, whether it's, 2 or 3 days before or the day before. But we wanna make her pay up
Did
front.
we approve that one yet?
No,
I'll make the motion, we go ahead and approve it conditionally. And if they don't use it, we
Don't charge.
won't charge them.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then I don't know if you guys want to approve this one or have me bring it back. This is the, it wasn't on there, I just got it this week. This is the luncheon for the missionary farewell. So she's asked, her name is Shannon. She's asked to have one of the staff, Alex or I, meet her 9 o'clock Sunday morning to put her stuff in there. She's going to go to church, come back and have a luncheon from 12 to 2, and she will clean everything up. So is that another one that I have to have insurance for or not?
No. On that
I mean,
one.
this one says up to 100 people, and the open meeting said 50, so
Will it incur overtime is what I,
That,
Yeah,
but
it
what's she paying?
she's paying $100.
$100? And that's, we always, we try to cover expenses.
It doesn't necessarily have to incur overtime if they schedule adjust. I mean, if you come
Yeah.
in for a couple hours on Sunday, then take a couple hours off on Tuesday.
Right.
They can just schedule adjust, that's what we do.
yeah, I think payroll would have the same, yeah, because you're not really budgeted for that overtime, right?
No,
So
we have
I-
no overtime. So, yeah, we would just take
Adjust
time
your
off during the
schedule,
week.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
do what you can.
Are you
adjust your
willing to do
schedule.
that? Okay. So,
So I don't know if you want to approve this one or not. It's up to you. Meets
Yeah.
fee schedule.
Let's, in my opinion, let's try some of these, see how they work, and we're gonna learn a whole lot from this. And again, your input, Alex and Jamie, and we need input on that, and it might well help determine some of this MOU stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good learning thing here, so I'll make the motion, we go ahead and approve that.
That one needs to go to him too, because it's one that I just got this week. So that's why it wasn't on the agenda.
when you talk
probably
to
know
them,
her,
you say
Shannon.
that it's double because of the
What?
timeline.
Okay. You probably know her. She just bought the grocery store in Downey and is
Oh,
redoing some.
Sartorius?
Yeah, Sartorius.
Sartorius, oh, I know who you're talking about.
Shannon's, yeah.
No.
Is it her daughter? Yeah. She's gonna have a hard time on mission, she's gorgeous.
I just give people a bad time, so. So, all right.
I'm more, I guess, I'm more lenient if people that are from there, because we know where they live.
Right.
And they're part of the community, they're part of the county, but an organization that comes in from who knows where, I think we gotta have more caution then, with
Okay.
insurance, with
They're
possibly.
one block away, where they live
Yeah,
is
but
one block.
where they're there, we know where they're at, and we want that building to be utilized, it's a wonderful place, but just with that in mind, let's learn from these, and you say, you don't want to feed a snarling dog, but it's okay to reach out and see if they'll just let you pet them. So that's terrible, but
I don't even want to pet a
I
snarling.
don't either, but I won't pet a snarling one, but wagging his tail, maybe it will, so.
All right.
All good.
So, thank you for and it's a good exercise of thought. There's a lot of things we need to work on.
Good review.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
So,
All right, that brings us to the claims agenda. We have invoices, commissioners report,
I didn't see anything.
alcohol license permits, and cardholder user agreement and authorization.
I'll make the motion, we go ahead and authorize the items on the consent agenda.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.